It's a long, long way to Tipperary, and I have travelled down from Longford to catch up with Deputy Mattie McGrath on the campaign trail down here in South Tipperary. And it's a journey that I have wanted to make on behalf of the Alliance of Birth Mothers Campaigning for Justice, because we owe a huge debt of gratitude to Deputy McGrath for his incredible advocacy for our mothers over the last 4 years. He has hosted groups of mothers in Leinster House, and of course his debates in Dáil Éireann about Tusla and the need to reform it are legendary. So Mattie, thank you so much on behalf of our mothers.
Wina Breaches, Anna, Tafir Falter Road, Goody, Bohar Station, Dundrum in South Tipperary. You're very welcome, Anne. And I'm looking at Anna, I'm looking at a churn here, 20 gallon churn that we used to have the milk in years ago. It's lovely for the tidy towns, and compliments to the tidy towns as well. And the lid is off this churn, and the lid must be taken off Tusla completely in the next government. And if I have any say, if I get re-elected, and I'm appealing for your votes, in a programme for government negotiations, I will be demanding that a full and thorough calling to task of Tusla at senior management level. Minister Roderic O'Gorman has said he hasn't lost a wink's sleep over them. Many parents, many mothers, many children have lost. Many children have died and missing. Up to 50 children missing in state care. Tusla rubbing their hands and just saying everything is fine. The lid must be taken off this murky, shady, dodgy, uncaring organisation, and support the birth mothers and support families fairly. Nobody wants to be treated like with kid loves or being treated too favourably. Fair play is fine play with me, and Tusla haven't dealt with people fairly, or indeed finally with many, many families. I'm meeting them on a campaign trail. People that knew I raised this in the Dáil and want to meet me and hug me and thank me, and tears in their eyes about the suffering they're going through at the hands of Tusla.
Well, Mattie, you mentioned Minister Roderic O'Gorman there, and you have said many, many times in the Dáil that he never lost sleep over it. Well, actually what he said, and it was at the 10th anniversary celebration of the formation of Tusla back in February in Dublin Castle, and what he in actual fact said was that Tusla has never given him or the government a moment of concern. And that is a quote from Jack Power, who published it in the Irish Times. Anybody can look it up online. And he said that, having shredded the reports that were sent to him about children taken into state care by Tusla, that were sent to him by Judge Dermot Sims. And he made no comment whatsoever on the fact that there was a report published from UCD in June of 2023 saying that children were being trafficked out of state care into the sex industry. And I know, Mattie, that you have blazed a trail along with Carl Nolan in raising the whole issue of migration, which up until now was a political hot potato. Anybody that raised the issue of migration, they were immediately dismissed by media and by people on social media as being right-wing conspiracy theorists, racist, whatever slur that could be thrown your way, it was fired at you. But there is a link between migration and immigration and Tusla, because the children that are coming in unaccompanied are going into the care of Tusla, and it is some of those children that are being trafficked out of residential homes. And there was actually a case in the public domain where there was a child trafficked out of a residential home something like an hour after she had been placed there by Tusla. And of course we have the issue of undocumented males coming in with no documentation saying that they're children, and they're being housed in emergency accommodation. And Kate Duggan and her team, when they were brought before the Children's Committee earlier this year, admitted that this was actually putting pressure on the whole system of childcare.
Look, it's horrific, and words can't describe how the minister could shred those reports, very detailed reports and very graphic reports, and how he could say that. So it leads me to have a suspicion that there's some kind of a ring operating here that are untouchable, and he was, giving him that cover, didn't lose him in his sleep. Look, if an animal goes missing on a farm and a tag goes missing, there's huge repercussions about payments and grants and everything else. So, children go missing. And that UCD report, the children were taken out into the sex trade. This is appalling. And the island of the Céad Míle Fáilte and the Children's Act that they brought in and passed a referendum here is completely absurd that they would allow Tusla to continue. Tusla, first of all, in the Céad Dulcíos was set up a corner, maybe a quarter of HSE staff. Some of them, they wouldn't want it in the HSE, and some of them wanted to get out, were just put into Tusla and left it free for all. And the only one watchdog that we had watching them, the name escapes me now, and you remind me, he defunded that group. They did very good reports on it as well. And eminent justices have said this, not Anna Kavanagh's or Mattie McGrath's words. This is truly horrific. And in decades to come, there will be massive inquiries, investigations, and indeed tribunals. But the children that I worry about, I have 8 children, adults now, thank God. I have 11 grandchildren and expecting 2 more. Those little children. Imagine people coming here for safety and get sold into the sex trade. It's completely... words fail me. And to think that Roderic O'Gorman was ever put in charge of children in the first place, I would question that after Catherine Sapone the last time. But look, that's a matter for the teacher of the day. But now, this to go on unchecked, and all these statements by judges and very annoyed with the judges with Tusla were dealing with them. And there are social workers in Tusla who are pernicious, who are vindictive, and who treat families, especially mothers, appalling.
Well, Mattie, I know that there some of your canvassers that are joining you this evening are beckoning at you to get back onto the campaign trail ahead of tomorrow's forecasted blizzard. I just want to thank you so much for taking time out to chat to me. I wanted to do this trip for a long time because just by way, a small gesture of our immeasurable gratitude towards you for what you have done for us and your commitment to continue to work for us. So if you're living in South Tipperary, this is Anna Kavanagh here on behalf of the Alliance of Birth Mothers Campaigning for Justice, appealing to you to give your number 1 to Deputy Mattie McGrath based on his track record of looking after and looking out for mothers and children. And also I would like you to consider the independent candidates running in your area, just to have a look at their merit. And I ran for the general election in 2020. It takes incredible courage to run as an independent. You don't have any support, you're on your own, and you don't have the huge funding that comes to political parties. And I'd like to give a special shout out, and I will be doing another video, but I would like to give a special shout out to 2 independents that are running. Suzanne Delaney, who's running in the same constituency as Roderic O'Gorman, and she has challenged him on his record as Minister for Children. And I'd also like to give a shout out to Stephen Kerr over in Mayo, because he was the first, through his platform, the Irish Inquiry, to give a voice to mothers who were tortured and tormented by Tusla. So thank you for watching, and please share this video to get it out to a much wider platform. Thank you.
Wait a week.